good, Charles Jermaine, Bill Saint. Welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. How y'all feeling out there? Yeah, man, another late one, guys. I'm sorry for no notice and all that, but I really wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about this collab that I saw. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, let me do it tonight. Let me do it while I still got just like that much energy left. It's funny, like the last 5 minutes at work today, I cut my thumb. I'm not a big fan of American cars because of stuff like that. I was helping to raise the rear door on an SUV. You hit the button and then it kind of stopped halfway up. So I just push it up. And when I did that, man, I cut myself. Is what it is. 'Tis but a scratch. 'Tis but a flesh wound, as they say in Mighty Python's The Holy Grail. One of my favorite movies ever in the whole wide world. Like, a shout out to Monty Python and The Holy Grail. Don DeMarco to that.
Don DeMarco.
So yeah, man. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this clip I found. Man, it's, I don't know what to say, bro. It's gonna be fire. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed, man. So shout out to everybody, man. What's up? I'm happy to have y'all, man. Let's kick it off right. I'm supposed to always remind people to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. StreamYard wants us to post this little thing right here. If you are out there thinking about doing this, you want to do some podcasting, and you're looking for a platform, maybe you want to do StreamYard, maybe you want to do OBS, maybe you want to do some other stuff out there that I don't know about. Hey, man, I suggest you do StreamYard. And if you want to give it a try, hit that link, and Uncle Saint will get a kickback. StreamYard will send me money if you sign up with that link right there and check out their product. I like it. It's user-friendly. It's not the most complex platform. OBS does way more. But for someone like me who doesn't have the time to commit to learning all that stuff that OBS can do, and because you can have OBS and StreamYard and run them together. I know Mandrell does that, or used to do that when he was doing his thing. So I just don't have the bandwidth to get in there with something, tech heavy with a steep learning curve. I wanted something that was just plug and play, cut, paste, done, and for me, that was StreamYard. And I don't even use all of the features that StreamYard offers. They offer a lot, guys. So, hey, if you're thinking about using it, do me a favor and hit that link right there. And, like I said, let Uncle Saint get a little kickback. And I think you'll enjoy it. And if you do, check it out. Let me know. If you got any questions, hit me up on Instagram. I Really Want to Know podcast, all one word. You can hit me up about that. Want some tips on, not even tips. Like, if you just want to know what I've learned over the past few years, I'll be more than happy to tell you. If you want to talk about some issues out there with dating, you stuck somewhere, you want to ask me some shit, man, come on through. I got you. It's all good. People are like, yo, you still coach? Yes, I still coach. I still do that. My prices have actually gone down because I'm not traveling as much. So I'm not coming to these different cities or having people fly in here. So it's like, if you got a couple, just hit me up, bro. It's one of those kind of things, man. At this point, I'm like, bro, just hit me up. And if the information I gave you was cool, man, just tip me on a platform. Go and send some money on a platform or Cash App or something like that. I'm just out here trying to help brothers navigate. That's it. That's all I'm really trying to do. And I got to, we're doing other things, so I ain't tripping, guys. So if I can help you out, hit me up. You know what I mean? I Really Want to Know podcast. I'll put the banner up so you guys can see. Just hit me up. Got any questions? If I can help you, I'll be more than happy to help you. The Real podcast. What's good, fam? Shout out to you, man. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you, bro. Salute to you. We're gonna be talking about Anton Daniels and Myron Gaines. Not gonna lie to you, bro. I was surprised to see the collab. I really was. I know Anton is definitely RP aware. Um, I would say he's red pill adjacent. I don't know if he considers himself red pill because he's moving in a different space. And y'all let me know how it is, like with the black space, like with black YouTube and all that. Because I know there's a lot of guys, a lot of black dudes who are red pill aware, red pill, all that good stuff. But I don't really move in like the extreme spaces like on black YouTube. I just don't. I'm not I was rocking with Melody King, but she stopped doing lives. Suzette Speaks was the first platform I ever went on. I got mad love, but Suzette is doing some great things, guys. She's down there in Florida, South Florida, doing some great things. Check out her Instagram. Shout out to Suzette. You know what I mean? She's doing some great things. Black Man Unfiltered, like Mandrell. So I kind of tipped my toe in there, but I was shocked to see Myron on Anton's platform talking about this stuff, because I know a lot of people who rock with Anton, they can't stand Myron Fresh and Fit. A lot of people point to Fresh and Fit, and they're like the demons. They demonize them, and they talk about clips. And the thing about Fresh and Fit, especially in the beginning, I don't know about now so much, but in the beginning, what really drew me into Fresh and Fit is exactly what we're about to watch. When Myron and Fresh would sit at the table, and they were sitting across the table from women, like real women, not the Instagram thoughts, not the 304s, not the, the good time girls. They was sitting across the table from like real women who had real jobs and was kind of doing their thing. And the conversation was righteous. They would have like one weirdo chick there, and that would be enough to get the clips. You know what I mean? Like you'll have Organic there talking to some chick, and like the delusional clip, or Kevin Sane was talking to a chick, you know what I mean? And that thing. But that's why I was rocking so hard with that platform, Fresh and Fit, because it was some really good conversations. And then it kind of evolved into where it is now. I don't watch the after hours. There's no value in it for me. But I can see that the value is there for other folks. And other folks are just entertained. It just, every other night, you just like, where are these women coming from? And it's like the same thing over and over again. But seeing Myron Games talking with Anton on one of Anton's panels, bro, that was refreshing. I'm thinking like, wow. And it just goes to show, like, Myron to come talk to anybody. He knew he was going into hostile lands. He was going into the Badlands, and he went. So, and they were talking some red pill stuff, bro. They were talking some red pill stuff. So, and the ladies on the panel were listening. Now, I'm really bad about watching the chat. I'm really bad about that. Like, if I'm on a panel, right, the way my setup is, I can be on the panel and I can read the chats on a separate screen. And a lot of times I'll do that when I'm just sitting there, and I'll read the chats and kind of chime in a little bit there. But other than that, like if I'm just watching a video, I have the comments off. I'm not reading the comments because I don't really care, what's being said in the chat. So, so apparently there was some things being said in the chat, but like Myron handled it like he handles everything else, and he kept the conversation focused. And when we watch this, guys, pay attention to the women, pay attention to the sisters who are sitting there. And it's like, here he is, because I done heard on that platform people talk mad craziness about Fresh and Fit and this and that. In particular, Myron. Well, he's there. He's right there on screen. They're not live, of course. They're not sitting in a room together, but they're on the panel. He's right there. And let's just watch what happened, man. So shout out to them boys, man. Shout out to Anton. Shout out to Myron. Shout out to Fresh, wherever he is, like, because that's the Fresh and Fit that I remember. That's the Fresh and Fit that got me motivated to do this. That's the Fresh and Fit, like when they talk about dating dynamics and when they talk about what's going on in the streets, them boys is keeping it 100. Now, yeah, a lot has happened over the years, but their core message is still there, and this is proof of that. Like, their core message is still there. So I like what I was seeing. You know what I mean? I hope that the Fresh and Fit platform, maybe I'll check them out. Maybe I'll see what they're doing over there. Maybe they've gone back to basics. Maybe I'll jump over there and check it out. But those like the After Hours or whatever podcast or Access Vegas, it gets to a point where it's diminishing returns. Like the women who agree to come on to these platforms or coming on these platforms so they can get these invisible dudes to come over to their OF or send cash out, whatever, right? They're coming, they're coming to get dudes over to their platform so they can get money. So the women who come there, the conversations aren't real. They're just sitting there. Maybe they're hoping to get a viral moment, so for me, it's not really worth watching. But, I know a lot of dudes who they love it. To them, it's just straight comedy. They go in there, just the entertainment value for them is just great. So let's pull this up. Man. I want you guys to check this out. This is just a clip from one of the shows where Anton had Myron on. And I think there were maybe 2 or 3 shows, maybe more. And it's a lot of clips. And I've watched 3 or 4 different clips with different people on the panel. So I'm thinking Myron's been on there a few times. The conversation is real. There's no screaming back and forth. There's no name calling. Like Myron's doing his thing. He's even lessened his shock value. Like he'll say something shocking, but then he'll back it up real quick. Like no, for real. This is what's really going on. So I thought the conversation was solid. Let's get into it and check it out. They were talking about men. Should men take their losses up front, before they find their fortune? Like, should guys, with respect to women going out here, should they get their heart broken, go out here, get curbed, ghosted before they get their fortune, to learn female nature, to learn what type of women they're dealing with. So when they do finally get to the finish line, they're better suited to deal with some of these women. That's, I think, what the topic was. So it's like, get burned early. Women or destroy you when you get money. So like get burned early. I guess they mean to say women can destroy you when you get your money. So let's check this out.
You think that it's best that guys get burned early? Because it seems like once guys get resources and get money, that it really becomes an issue.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure if they learned the lesson.
I was playing for keeps. Like this girl right now going after Shannon Sharp, she's playing for keeps. So it's like, and they have an incentive to do so. When you're broke and you're a nobody, like are they incentivized to go after you as hard? Probably not. Then maybe they'll embarrass you in the neighborhood. Oh yeah, weirdo, blah, blah, blah. That's cool. You can move and be fine. But when you got some money in your the young guys that like aren't red pill aware and get some money and status, they get cooked the worst. It's better for you to almost like be broke, make these mistakes as you're coming up, then get the money, understand women, and then you're in a much more you're in a much better position, because then you can mitigate the risk, or you already know how to deal with certain women off of how they come at you. You're like, oh yeah, this girl's a thought, I got to deal with her this way. Okay, this girl, I can maybe let her in a little bit, but like you get that wisdom from failing, and you got to fail it. You got almost got to fail when you're broke, because you kind of see how you see the real side of females. Like when you don't have all your stuff together, you don't have money like that yet. You really get to see like the dark side of hypergamy. And I think men need to be exposed to that, to see how callous and how cold women can really be when they're not interested in you. Because I truly think like women are much more cold-blooded than men are, way more, especially when they're not interested. Their interest in men drop off precipitously, way faster. They're more likely to end relationships. They're more likely to break your heart without you even knowing about it, because they broke up with you 6 months. They've already been plotting the breakup. So like with women, I think men need to experience that, because this kind of insulates you from making those mistakes later on when it's going to cost you significantly more money.
Hey, right there, man, he's dropping bars. He's dropping bars, and it makes a lot of sense. When you get started, right, on your travels to become whatever it is you're trying to become. Some dudes, they set out to be players. Some dudes are going out there looking for their wife. Some dudes are just going out there to have multiple monogamous relationships. They'll just, they just jump from one relationship to the next, to the next, to the next, not really growing from it. But from whatever your mission is, when you first start and you really have no money, it's all game. It's all game, right? So you're learning how to talk to women. Now, some people would say, a lot of guys argue, like, well, when you tall, like, saying when you was out there, you was young, man, you 6 feet, blah, blah, blah. You was a cool kid. You was hanging out with the people. You was an athlete. Yeah, so what? But there were dudes out there hustling who were like 5'6", 5'7", 5'5", right? Getting way more women than me. Chicks I couldn't even touch. But as a broke dude, I could learn. I could see like, well, they're dealing with women that just basically want a trick like that. And it ain't like they're straight selling themselves, but there are women out there who will not deal with you if you're not paying a bill. If you're not buying them things like constantly, like if you're not taking them shopping, if you're not taking them on trips, if you're not paying for their electric bill or their phone bill, but back then we didn't have cell phones really. It was like the real phone bill. Like if you ain't, bringing groceries over for her kids and all that, there were women that only dealt with dudes to get the bread, right? So as a broke dude, they would never rock with me. Now, every now and then you might be able to catch them when they feeling good or whatever, because if they into you, they into you. And they know you ain't like, I wouldn't even buy them drinks. Like I'm at the bar, I'm the dude that she's like, you gonna buy me a drink? Like, nope. I wouldn't even buy them drinks. Right. But I was still learning what's going on. So when you don't have, like Myron says, when you're broke, that's the time to really pay attention to see what's going on with female nature. Now, if you're a dude that comes from wealth, you come from a wealthy family, whatever, it might be a little more difficult because they know your people got money. Right. So they might be coming at you. Women might be coming at you just so they could ride in your dad's car, your mom's car, because they know you got access to it. Like they driving the S class. So, I'll go out with you. We can go to the movies. You gonna pick me up in that S class? You gonna pick me up in that M5? I was shocked at how many women were really into cars and new cars. They knew cars better than I did when I was younger. They knew BMWs, like they knew the difference between the 3, 5, and 7 Series. They knew what an M meant. You know what I'm saying? Like they knew, they knew their Beamers. They knew what engine you had. I knew a girl once. I had an Audi Quattro Coupe. This was back in the 90s. I had an Audi Quattro Coupe. It was an inline 5. She knew that. She was like, oh, someone was asking me like, hey, bro, is that a V6? And I was sitting there like, and she's like, no, it's an inline 5. Right, and it's manual. And below certain speed, she knew what speed where I could lock in the 4-wheel drive. In that car, you can lock in the 4-wheel drive. It was a 3-door. The car was amazing. You guys, if you're a car person and you don't know, look that up, man. The Audi Quattro Coupe. I had the Alpine White, man. It was amazing. Car was nasty. I was still in the Army when I had that. So it was women who knew that. She knew what that car could do, man. She knew everything. Specs like a mug. So I was shocked. Like, man, there's women out here who know this? Damn, I don't even know that. Right? It just, women are into whatever it is they're into. But as a brokey, I knew they weren't coming at me for money. So, and I got to see that. And like what Myron was just saying, getting your heart broken. Yeah, man. By the time you realize your relationship is over, that relationship has been over with that woman. At least 5 months prior to you figuring out, sometimes a year before you figure it out. And you might figure it out because you see her out with some other dude, or one of your people come back and report to you like, yeah, your girl out here with so-and-so. The way she reacts to you, the way she, doesn't really take your calls, she ain't never home. You call her, used to be when she was into you, always on the phone, always calling you. Now she ain't into you. It's like you call, leave a voicemail. Like back in the day, you had an answering machine, or you leave a message with her cousin or her mom or her dad or whatever. Can you have Tisha give me a call? Can you let her know? Have you been giving her my messages? Like you sound like a fool, but you need to learn that when you're broke. So when you finally get to the finish line and you got some bread and you know what's going on, you can peep this kind of thing. You know what time it is. It just helps you to continue to move. And back in the day, I was running rotations. So I really learned a lot running rotations because a lot of women were messing with me, but they had boyfriends. Some of them had husbands. It was crazy. And I never really asked. You just find out later, like, damn. And some of them were so slick with it, they kept it a secret. I mean, it's still a secret to this day, bro. Messing around back in 95, 96, 97. They was married back then, still married to the same dude today. And they might see me in the streets and be winking their eyes if I go home or something like that, or if they catch me somewhere else. I'm like, yo, is that Don Don? They run over to me and start winking their eyes at me and stuff like that. Like, oh, what's good, girl? Damn, Sherry, I ain't seen you in forever. You know what I mean? Who you with? Your husband? Oh, y'all still married? Come to find out that she was married to dude when she was smashing you. So this is what they're talking about. So I agree with them. Yeah, it's best that you learn early. It's way better to learn early than to learn later. Right? So let's continue.
What do you say about the chat saying that you can't pull a black woman?
I would say, why would I? Why would I? You can have them, bro.
Why wouldn't you?
They could have them, man. I'm not competing for LaQuisha. You guys can have them, man.
Well, every black woman ain't LaQuisha.
Now, right there was Myron. This is how Myron really gets people going. Sometimes women, he'll say something controversial. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, but he's just kind of going through the motion here. Watch how he transitions into the serious part of the conversation. Because in Myron's mind, he's like, man, I don't even feel like talking about the weirdos in the chat. That's what he's thinking. Like, man, why are you even bringing this up, bro? We trying to have a grown-up conversation over here. You talking about these dudes in the chat, man. They're invisible for a reason. Ain't nobody trying to hear what they got to say, right? But, oh, boy, I guess the Q Diddy guy, you know what I mean? That's his role, because I've watched a few of these after-hour kind of chats on Anton's channel, and that's what he does. He's one of those things. So it's like, you know, what do you say about people who say you can't pull black women? And here's the thing about real game, man. When y'all out here, bro, y'all gonna learn this too. If you are that dude, if your game is on point, or you have money, you have resources, you have fame, you have access, bro, it don't matter what color the woman is, man. She gonna come holler at you, bro. She gonna come holler at you, be it black girls, Latin girls, Asian girls, you know what I mean, white girls, Russian girls. I mean, bro, I've had some Muslim girls come up and holler at me, man. Like, it's Jewish girls. It don't matter. It don't matter. So long as your game is good enough to the point where you know how to keep your foot out your mouth, you know how to sit back and just let it happen, then, bro, it took me a good 10 years to figure that out. All this time I'm thinking, I'm just a Mac. You know what I'm saying? I got that game, bro. I got that golden tongue. Nah, I wasn't that. Because I'll think back on it and I'm like, man, I could have had so many more women, but I kept screwing up because I kept talking. And it was later. It was like when I got my late 20s, my early 30s, when I learned to sit back. I just sit back. And all the women like, who is that guy? Who was that? Oh, yeah, that's my people over there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's Saint. I always see him out. How come all the owners come talk to him? How come all the promoters come talk to him? All the bouncers, all the bartenders, all the bar backs. Everybody be going over there to holler at him. And then sure enough, those women come slide up to you, place themselves in your orbit, and start asking questions. And the number one question is, who are you? That's like the number one question. And all you gotta sit back is like, I'm Saint. How you doing? What's your name? Just sit back and let it happen. And if it's a woman you want to holler at, you trying to smash, cool. If it's a woman that you ain't really trying to holler at, right? See who she knows. You can still put her, in your funnel, because she might have business connections that can help you out. You know what I mean? She might have social connections. She definitely gonna have some dimes. Like she gonna, So that's the number one thing. But for whoever's in the chat to say that, Myron Gaines can't pull black girls, like, you must be out your mind, bro. The he's a millionaire, right? Became a millionaire on YouTube, making all these connections, doing all these things. They were doing good on YouTube, and then Rumble came. Bro, it's legit. He has properties. He wasn't spending his money on clothes and cars and jewelry. He was investing in properties. The dude's a legit millionaire. So, of course, he can talk to black women. The dude is like 6'3". He's fit, right? He knows how to hold a conversation. Now, a lot of women are going to pass because he's so hardcore with his message. Like, dude lives by these words, man. He ain't just saying this for Instagram or saying this for YouTube. Like, I've been around him, bro. He'll cut a dime loose in a heartbeat. I done seen it, right? Seen it. We were in Dallas one night, man. He was talking to this one chick, like, okay, I see you, bro. About to go do his thing. I seen him 30 minutes later at the hotel, like, bro, that was quick. Ain't no way you got to the hotel yet. Oh, no, I got rid of her, man. She started talking some craziness, man. I had to let her go. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, I got rid of her. And he had another one pulling up like 15 minutes later. So the stuff that he be talking, he actually does. So, yeah, he could pull a sister, a Latina, Asian, whatever. He can pull whatever. He's in the right circles, right? He has the credentials. He has the attraction triggers that the vast majority of women want. So, yeah, he can pull a sister. So let's listen to how he cleaned this part up. Let's check this out.
What you mean?
Look, I say that's look, I'm fucking around. But the when they say dumb shit like that, or you can't pull a black woman, like that's just like cope a lot of the times because they're saying what that really. Let me decode the stupidity for you. When people say dumb shit like that, translation, you're not willing to tolerate the bad behavior that naturally comes with a lot of black women. Because let's be honest, let's deal with the stereotypes here, right? I'm an open racist towards everybody. Let's deal with the black stereotypes. Black women are fat, loud, crass, annoying, have attitudes, and they don't respect male authority. There's a bunch of reasons for this, but I'll go over simply. The average black woman weighs 187 pounds. A lot of them are grow up in a single mother household where they're told every single day, niggas ain't shit. There is no patriarch in the family a lot of the times. This is just what goes on. Then when you listen to the rap music, what are they saying? Fuck niggas, get money, blah, blah, blah. It's just shitting on black men all day. And then the black men that are in their life a lot of the times, not every single time, but a lot of the times, they're criminals, they're fathers that weren't there, they're crooks, and it's just like a never-ending cycle where there's no real patriarch in the household. And then on top of that, you know, we since women, a lot of black women grow up without men in the house, they end up becoming extremely masculine. Now, this is fantastic when it comes to survival, getting a job, making your way through life, but this is terrible when it comes to attracting masculine men. Masculine men don't want masculine women in return. That would make you probably more than likely gay if you're attracted to yourself, right? And I always use the analogy because whenever
That's your lane, Molly.
because here's the thing with black women, right? They'll sit there and they'll say, "Oh, you can't handle me," and I'll say, "Why the fuck should I?" Because let me tell you this: if you went up to a black woman and you said, "Hey, look, I like to wear heels on Saturdays," she'd be like, "Ew, what the fuck?" She'd curve you, rightfully so. That's weird. But why is it that we're supposed to accept masculine black women when they would never accept feminine black men? They never would. So why the hell should I accept a woman that behaves like a man when she would never accept me for behaving like a woman? And this is the
Yeah, now they got that lavender thing going on, man. When openly gay men are getting married or having a relationship with straight women, it's like in the black community, they call that lavender. Yes, I will be doing a show on this. You know, brother Donnie, what's good, fam? Yeah, bro, you was there for that. Yeah, man, like the stuff that Myron and Fresh tell you, bro, they're not making it up. They're not exaggerating it. This is what goes on. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we were there. We saw it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And what Myron is saying makes sense. You see the women on the panel. These are strong black women. These are sisters. They are listening. They are listening. They're taking it all in, bro. They're listening. And it's not just on this platform, but, you know, YouTube channels all over the globe, bro. This is the conversation. A really good YouTube channel to check out for this kind of conversation, Stay Slick with Kit. That's over in UK. I'm going to be breaking down some of his shows as well, but Stay Slick with Kit. Y'all need to check him out because he's sitting there one-on-one having these very same conversations in the same room with a woman. And bro, what he's doing is brilliant. And I just hit him up the other day. And I was telling him how I was like, hey, man, keep leading from the front. Keep doing what you're doing. You're making a difference. Because there's the Myron Gaines approach when he's just coming at you with the tomahawk out and just, you know, taking heads. And then you have that approach that Kit's doing. He's just kind of he's sitting back. You know, the man's in entertainment. I believe Kit's an actor. He's successful, right? He's a handsome dude, tall, doing his thing, well-spoken, well-mannered, easygoing. So he's able to talk to women. And then instead of, like, he doesn't have to agree. So many times when dudes are out here in the trenches and they're talking to women, they want to agree with everything the women say. Why? Because they think this is an opportunity for them to get, you know, to holler at them. This is their game. I'm just going to agree with everything she says, and then maybe, just maybe, you know what I mean, she'll let me drink her bathwater. Whereas the top tier dudes are going to tell you the truth. The thing is how they going to tell it to you. Like, you be like Myron and just in your face, like hit you with a ton of bricks, tell you the truth with it. Or like Kit, just kind of slide it in there. Keep it 100, keep it cool, keep you talking. Right? And then other dudes, the top tier dudes are like, man, I ain't going to get into this. I don't even want to talk about this because I'm just trying to smash. So if a dude's going to tell you, the top tier guys, if they're going to tell you, you know what I mean, ladies, you should really listen. The bottom 80 dudes, man, they going, whatever you say. Whatever you say, you're right. Yeah, toxic masculinity. Yeah, you're right. Red pill bad, blue pill good. Yeah. Can I cash app you a whole bunch of money? Nah. That needs to go away. Brother Mandrell's in the building. What's good, fam? Yep, Kit is dope. If y'all haven't checked him out, man, please check him out. Stay slick with Kit. I'm going to link one of his videos in here in the chat before this is over. But you see how Myron hit him with the shock value? Why would I talk to a black woman? She's crashy, blah, 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 all this stuff. But then he's like, look, I'm just playing. Let me get into it for real. And then he slid into it for real. Like, this is what it is, right? Talking about the obesity problem, like the weight problem. That's a thing. That's a thing. Being crash, that's a thing. Being alpha, that's a thing. Right? I think a lot of women out there are tired of being an alpha. I think a lot of women are tired of carrying all that weight. I think they want to be able to set those burdens down or hand those burdens off to a man that they respect and they love and build something. I think they want to do that, but it's so hard to do. It's so hard to do. So let's continue.
Insane double standard where they'll sit there and say, you need to expect me the way that accept me the way that I come. But women never accept us the way that we come. We have to self-improve. Why don't they have to self-improve? So when they say dumb shit like that, saying, oh, you can't handle a black woman, or why don't you date them? What that really means is, why are you not dealing with the stereotypical, loud, obnoxious, crass, rude black woman? And I'm saying no, because I don't want to date myself. So if I've dated a black woman before that are polite, feminine, not fat, respectful, speak proper English, they say ask instead of ax, like all these things. And that's what I like. So if I'm going to be around that, great. I don't really care about skin color like that. I have a preference. It just so happens that a lot of the times black women don't adhere to these preferences because they're indoctrinated to have this mindset of, let me challenge a man. Let me be rambunctious. Let me go ahead and chase a career and basically be the man that I want to get. And I'm not with that.
Did y'all peep that last part? Let me basically be the man that I want to get. Rollo Tomasi says that all the time. Women, especially hardcore feminists, have become the men that they want. Right? So, and then on Fresh and Fit, again, look, y'all know, loyal listener, loyal supporter of Myron and Fresh, especially like the first 18 months for sure. Right? Like the first 24 months, like the first 2 years of Fresh and Fit, man, I was right there in studio. There's another thing too. I would be in studio, the old studio, the first one. And, the show would be over, whatever, a bunch of women on the panel, the normal stuff, the show would be over. As soon as the cameras are off, almost every single time the women would gather around in the kitchen, around the countertop, and just be talking. And the women were like, they was right about that. And, oh man, that was crazy. Or they'll be gathered downstairs waiting for the car valet because, Myron and Fresh would pay for the valet for all the women on the show. That's just part of it. They take care of their guests. So they kind of wait for the cars to come back and they're like, yeah. And they would almost every last one of them would say the same thing. Well, he's right. Everything he said wasn't wrong. I just don't like the way he said it. Every time. When it comes to, the sexual marketplace, sexual market value, like your SMV, when it comes to date, like, female and male dating dynamics and stuff like that, bro, every single time at the end of every show, these women were like, yeah, he's right. I just don't like the way he said it. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. And look at Mandrell, he's like, I disagree. Like the vast majority of women do not want to build with a man. I don't say the vast, I say, Mandrell, I say this. If I had to make up some numbers, I would say 45 to 50% of women do want to build with men. They do. Right? So I'll say, let's say 45%. Right? And that other 55% are caught up with the feminist ideals and all that kind of stuff, and they don't know how to build with a man. Those are the ones that want to get to the finish line and wait for the dude to cross the finish line and smash the winner type women. Those women, they don't want to struggle. I could struggle by myself, those women. But I would say 45 to 50% of women do build with men. Now, if we look at the marriage, divorce rates and all that kind of stuff, people like, but look at the divorce rates and this and that. I'm like, still, I think the divorce is something different. But I think that women do want to build, they do I'll tell you this for sure. Women do want to follow people. I see it every day in this daggone garage, right? When you have like a woman who can't figure out how to start the car that she just rented, or can't figure out how to get the car in gear. And it's not their fault, because a lot of these manufacturers, man, are over engineering the hell out of these vehicles, man. It's just stupid. Chrysler, just stupid. Buick, it's just stupid. Ford, you know what I mean? Volvo, oh my God, Volvo. Like, it's just stupid. Volkswagen, like the way that they're doing it. But every single time a woman has a question with how to get the car in gear, or something about that vehicle, something mechanical, right? And she's walking around. Remember, I told y'all there are more women at the workplace where I am than there are men. So she's looking around. She'll see two women over there, but she'll keep looking until she sees a guy, and then she'll wave the guy over or walk over to the guy and get the guy to come over to show her how to work the car. Right? So, Mandrell, man, there are more women out there who are doing things right than there are women doing it wrong, in my opinion, bro. Like, that's why I keep telling that it's not all women. Now, you know, I could be wrong. Mandrell saying that women don't want to. I don't know, bro. Yeah, they do want the finished product, but there are a lot of women out there who will build. If they believe, that's the key though. If they believe you have the potential, they're like, oh man, this guy has the potential. So yeah, he's in architect school, or, you know what I mean, he's in his second year interning at the hospital, or he's in his, you know, he's a first year law student, right? You know what I mean, about to go into the summer associate work. They'll build with those, but they'll wait. They'll wait for those guys. But I mean, if you still on fries, they probably ain't. They probably ain't gonna do that. It's like they don't want to earn it. You know, hey, you know, I think there is. Mandrell saying he think it's more like 5 to 10%. Nah, it ain't that low, bro. It ain't that low. Now, you know, there's a lot of women who want it, but they just don't know how to go about getting it. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know how to do it. They haven't been taught. Right? I'm teaching my daughter now. I teach my daughter now. Like, I'm paying attention to what's going on. Like, my daughter, you know, the kids now, they're in these different platforms, you know, like in these chats with emojis up or whatever. They don't use their own pictures or whatever, but I get to hear these kids talking. I just bust in my daughter's room, and she's trying to, you know, give signals to her friends because they can't see her. They can only hear her. So it's kind of like, you know, what's that platform where, damn it, where everyone goes on there. Damn, I can't think of it, but you know, it's just one of those platforms where you log in and people can hear your voice, you know. So I'll go in there and I'll listen. And I'll tell my daughter, like, don't say nothing, I just want to listen. I'm not going to hold her, you know, accountable for what these kids are saying. They're teenagers. Come on, I remember what it was like when I was a teenager. Thank God that they're just talking, because when I was their age, I was out there committing felonies. So it's like, thank God they're just talking. And I'll sit there and I'll listen, and then I'll leave the room after a while, and then I'll talk to my daughter about it, like, hey, you know, this is what's up. And my daughter, she wants that. She wants that male leadership. She wants that wisdom. She's like, she'll come to me and ask me questions like, Papa, what do you think about this? Papa, what do you think about that? Papa, this person said this, I don't know what to do. Kids want that. Kids need that. So I think that women do want that leadership, man. I think they do want to build. And I think it's 45 to 50%, not really closer to 45. Let's say 40 to 45%. I'll go 40 to 45% of women will build with you. The rest of them, they own something different. So let's get back to it.
That's
How
fair.
do you feel about that, Kim?
I agree with a lot of what he said. I've said before, I don't think that, just in general, we'll even speak on Black women because that's who he's talking about. I don't think that Black women are taught to be wives. Whereas, you know, this Black woman, if she's going to college to get her degree, these white girls were taught to be wives. They were taught to look for a man to take care of them. They were taught to look for husbands. They're going to college to look for a husband. They're going to be more submissive. They're going to be more passive because they're playing the long game.
And you want to hear something crazy too? You know, it's funny. The white girls be the biggest hoes. I be warning people with these college educated white girls. Like, if they join a sorority and shit like that, I tell guys all the time, like, bro, you know, you also don't want to wife up a horse. So, like, you know, winds up happening a lot of times with black women, because black women typically only want to be, black women are very narrow in what they like a lot of times. They prefer black men overwhelmingly. But the problem on the black male side is black men will take whatever, right? So that's kind of the issue where you run into a problem with a lot of black women. Also, black women tend to favor looks a lot more than other races. Which is, I guess, maybe a masculine trait. But black women tend to be more interested in the way that they dress, the way they conduct themselves, you know, the way they look, etc. Like it's very interesting how I've noticed that with black women, they tend to be the race that is very interested in the way a man looks, which is fine. You can have your preferences, but what the problem with that is, it dilutes the marketplace of men that you are going to open yourself up to. And when black women go to college and educate themselves, etc., they kind of bring that percentage down even more so as they climb up the ranks. But like with white girls, you know, you're right. They go to college. They're looking for a husband while they're there in school a lot of times, because a lot of times they don't even want to work their shitty ass, you know, HR job that they end up getting. But they end up being hoes a lot of the times, if we're going to be honest. So that's another thing that I tell guys to watch out for when it comes to the white girls, because every every group of women has their stereotypes that guys got to look out for.
Bro, keep in mind, this is Anton's panel. Normally, it's so much screaming going on back and forth. People get mad, blah, blah, blah. It's out of control. I don't watch a lot of his panels. But this right here, definitely worth the watch. And what he's saying is factual. Right? And then, you know, even with, you know, hey, don't get mad at me, but sisters and sororities, I mean, they can have a little bit of fun. I'll be talking to my homies that are Q dogs. The man, they be telling me like, what? I'm like, what's going on, bro? I'm like, man, let me tell you, bro. The Qs are just, and again, broke athletes. Now they got money, but back then they didn't have that money, right? They didn't have the deal that they got now. Man, it was like, say, man, these girls, these sorority girls, man, taking care of us, bro. They doing all kind of stuff, man. Like, what? Yeah, come on to this party. And I'm a soldier. I show up at the party like, okay, I see what's going on here. All righty then. Right. So but you know, I guess with the white girls, because Myron went to, you know, like a predominantly white school. Like he didn't go to a HBCU, obviously. So, you know, we're going to have to take him at his word. And he was a D1 athlete, right? He was on scholarship for rowing or crew or whatever. So, like, bro, he knows what he's talking about. And I've been to Chapel Hill, bro. I've like Duke, you know what I mean? I've been over there to, you know, North Carolina, you know what I mean? On Tar Heels, bro, they party up there, bro. They party. And y'all saw School Days. If y'all ain't seen School Days, go watch School Days. Remember when old boy was like, I ain't crossing no virgin. Remember that. Remember that. I'm not saying that that's every fraternity. I'm not saying that's every sorority. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying things like that do go on. But again, like shout out to Anton, shout out to Myron. This is a very calm panel and the women are listening and participating.
Carrie, what do you think? Carrie, what do you think about the narrative between black, white cultural norms, black women not necessarily being taught to look for husbands, all of that type of stuff? What do you think about everything that's being communicated in a general sense?
I agree with a lot of what he just said. I don't know if it's that women are not necessarily being taught to be wives per se, as much as taught to be wives that men want. Because everybody is not taught to go be an independent woman void of a man. Like some women are genuinely taught to go marry, but they're also taught to have a career at the same time. They're taught to have kids, but they're taught to go get an education. They're not taught to not be a wife, but they're also not necessarily taught to prioritize being a wife. They're not necessarily taught the characteristics that a husband that they want would actually be looking for. So everybody doesn't come from a broken home either. I mean, I know a lot, we say that a lot, and I'm not downing the numbers on it, but everybody doesn't come from a broken home. A lot of people have a 2-parent example, but they might not necessarily know how to be the wife.
I would say it's not just a black issue. It's a whole U.S. issue. The nuclear family has been destroyed, and there's a bunch of reasons for that. You know,
And you know, like I said, you see how this is a real conversation going on right now. It's not let's beat up on a red pill. It's not, you know, Myron's evil. He's the Antichrist. It's none of that. This is a real conversation of a serious issue that America and the West of the Western world is dealing with right now. This is a serious issue right now, right? Men are participating, man. Dudes are staying home. They're not even working. We're not having babies. Right, we're not having babies. People are talking about we're coming to the end of the American empire, our you know, like in our financial dominance. Why? Because we're not going to have another generation that's coming. We don't have a generation to punt this debt to. So it's about to be a problem, right? So this conversation needs to be had, and the fact that it's being had on this platform that we're watching here, Anton's platform, my platform, Fresh and Fit's been talking about this forever, whatever podcast, Access Vegas, you name it, they're talking about it. You know, PBD's talking about it. You know, you even got mainstream media talking about it, man. You got The View talking about it. You got all these other people. Everyone's talking about it. Professor Scott Galloway is talking about it. This is a serious problem. And like the sister said, she's like, well, not every, you know, black woman or black family is broken. And true. There are families out there that have mom and dad in the house, but who's running the house? Who's running the household? Who's calling the shots? And if it's mom, it could be a problem. Because in a lot of households, you know, dad gets stifled out. Like, don't listen to your daddy. He don't know what talking about. He ain't do what I say. It's like, nah, you need that discipline. Who's going to run that home? And then, you know, because it's not what's coming. Your child is not going to have a problem inside the walls of your home. The real problem is going to be outside them doors. When they get out there in them trenches, that's what the real problem is going to be. And if your kids aren't coming back to talk to you, to get that wisdom, right, to get that understanding, to know that you got their back, then, bro, the streets got them. I know plenty of dudes out here when I was coming up, gangster with it, mom and dad at the house, living in the suburbs. Man, what the hell you doing down here? Boy, you don't even live here. Gangbangers in LA, I tell you all the time. Hey, man, these dudes down there, man, these dudes on Grape Street, man, them dudes, you know what I mean, in the 60s. And there's dudes down there like, bro, you live in Stevenson's Ranch. The hell you doing down here? Hey, man, get your ass back out to Palmdale, bro. You got a nice house, grass. What you doing? Nah, I'm down. I want to show you how down I am. Like, man, you an idiot. You got a mom and a dad who love you. Like, my dad locked up, man. My mom on the block, man. She strung out. Man, I wish I had your life. So it's outside, not inside. Right? So that's something to think about. But she has a point, and she's right. Yeah, I had access to my mom and my dad, you know what I mean? Like, but we were in the same home. I had access, but I also had an opportunity to play them both against each other. Right? So that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, man, you got a kid who could be like, hey, mom, I'm over dad's house. Hey, dad, I'm over mom's house. And meanwhile, shit, like I told y'all that story, bro. My mom thought I was over my dad's house. My dad thought I was over my mom's house. Man, I was in South Carolina. Drove down there with my cousin. It was me, two of my cousins, and one of their homeboys. We drove from Cincinnati, Ohio, all the way down to South Carolina, to drop my cousin off so he can take a MAC flight over to Germany. And then we drove back. We ran out of money coming back. We barely had enough money. We crossed the bridge. Right? We crossed the Ohio River coming into Cincinnati on fumes. Plus, we were tired because we didn't know anything about toll roads. We had to hit some toll roads. That messed up our money. And then stopping to get snacks and stuff like that. Man, it was crazy. But my parents, you know, thinking I'm right around the corner. Man, I'm 3-4 states away.
Feminism, etc., has been, I think, one of the biggest problems when it comes to degradation of the nuclear family. But what I will say is, because you mentioned a good point, that women, like, you know, they're told to go to school and pursue. And I would say, right, if someone wanted to lose weight, right, and they truly wanted to change their body, they would have to change everything about their lifestyle. They'd have to start going to sleep 8 to 10 hours a night. They'd have to prioritize going to the gym. They would have to change their entire lifestyle around to be able to achieve that goal. Here's the problem. We tell women that they can kind of live their life the way that they want, and there's going to be a good man at the end waiting for them. And the problem is, if you want a guy to take care of you, well, then you need to be in a position where you're prioritizing finding that guy. Because the days of, and this is kind of the conundrum of feminism, right? So what feminism effectively did was it gave women the autonomy to pursue a career, make their own money, and become successful and be on their own. But what that also did was it ostracizes the average man from the dating and relationship marketplace, because women will never admit this, but I'll say it for you guys. There's nothing worse for a woman than settling on a guy that she feels that she could do better than, right? And what ends up happening is, with a lot of average men, 5'8", making 30 to 50K per year, a lot of women see better than that in America. Even average looking women feel that they could do better than that, right? There's nothing worse than an average guy to a majority of women. So what women do is they'll go to school, they're pursuing education, they'll become successful. And what they're hoping is that there's going to be a guy more successful, more attractive, more ambitious than her at the end of that road. But what she's effectively done, because she's become average herself or better than average, is she's just now ostracized a majority of men that would have been a great candidate for her before. But feminism has made it where women are told not to settle, become independent. But you got to ask yourself, who are they been independent of? They're independent of men.
Rose Moss has been saying that forever, man. Forever. This is one of the best panels I've ever seen. So for everyone out there who's like, man, why you rock with Myron and Fresh, man? They clowns. You was out there, you know, wherever they clowns. I'm like, these are the conversations that was going on when the cameras were off. This is what we were talking about. This is like out in the streets, just out there chilling. This is the red pill message that people need to hear, and people need to engage. Men and women of all communities, all races, bro, all ages need to engage in this, because it is truly a problem. And once men decide that it's just not worth it, right, for them to engage with women in this country. If men decide, you know what, I'm truly done with Western women, I'm only going to smash a couple here and there, and then I'm going to go find me a wife somewhere else, and I'm going to stay over there, wherever over there is, America is going to continue to degrade. Right? So this is the Myron Gaines that I was wishing that people would, you know, get an opportunity to experience, and now they are. Years ago, I told Myron and Fresh, I'm like, bro, Red Pill is going to go mainstream, and you guys are going to go mainstream with it. At the time I meant it, and I was like, bro, they definitely had the potential, but then Myron went on the political kick, and he was doing what he was doing. I'm like, well, there went the mainstream, because no one's going to listen to him. They're going to play some clips, some wild shit he said, and they're not going to listen to him. Right? And I think that's what happened. But here, look at everyone on the panel. Look at everyone on the panel, man. Like, everyone's listening. No one's mad. People are, the women are nodding their heads. They're in agreement. Carrie, she was sitting there. She was like, yeah. Like, she's agreeing, like, yeah. These women level up. And what, who was it? Professor Scott Galloway was saying, the term is women are getting taller than men, you know, not just physically, but, you know, metaphorically, they're getting taller because they're making more money. They're having more success. So as she gets that degree, as she makes more money, as she begins to climb the ladder, she's getting taller than the man that she would normally be with. Her, the average dude is still here, but she's taller than him. She don't want him. So she's going to look up. Gonna look up to that top 20%. And what's the top 20? What's that dude up in the top 20 gonna do? What's the top tier guy gonna do? He's gonna smash. Yeah, come on, I'll smash you, whatever. We can do this. Cool. And then send her on her way. And it's like Myron said, man, she's never gonna be happy if she believes she's settled for the dude. Right? And that's just I think that's something that women gotta sort out. You know what I mean? Through the Fire podcast in the building. What's good, fam? All right, RB ends Through the Fire, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here, man. And let's continue.
Walk around and say, oh, we're strong and independent. You guys will laugh at us. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all niggas? But we run around and we praise women for being independent all the time. But we don't ask ourselves, independent of who? It's of men. Of which men in particular? The majority, aka the average man. Most women are chasing the same small 10 percentile of guy. 6 foot plus, 100K per year, good career, charming, love dogs, asshole, but at the same time, you know, a nice guy. Like, they're looking for something that's very difficult to find in one guy. So when you made the topic like, hey, women are told to go, you know, get their money, but at the same time also kind of be a wife. The problem is that for the caliber of guy that they're looking for, right? Ironically enough, they need to prioritize finding a husband. But the problem is that they're pursuing a career so much that they don't have the time and a lot of the times interest to even pursue this guy. Like, and this is another controversial take, and I'll say this real quick, and I'd love to get the ladies' take on this. I say all the time, women lack empathy, okay? They have sympathy, but they don't have empathy. And I explain what I mean by this. So men, we understand innately that we need to go out there and improve ourselves, make money, get some status, etc., so that we could be a catch. We understand that we're a bum working at McDonald's. We ain't getting no bitches. We accept this reality. Women, though, however, I notice don't understand this. I'll give you an example. A girl will open up an Instagram, have pictures of herself all over the internet being a thot. She'll go pursue a career. She'll do a bunch of twerking stuff on the internet. She'll wear weird weaves. She'll do all this kind of crazy stuff, right? And what'll happen is she'll do all this not knowing that, like, men, though they might look at you from an attraction standpoint, they're not actually wanting to take you seriously. And this is what I mean when I say women like empathy. They kind of know what men like, but they don't know what men are actually attracted to and want to commit to. And that's where the disconnect happens. So what's up happening is they get with a guy, they know how to kind of get the guy just by existing, but it's very difficult for them to keep the guy. And this comes from this lack of training where women are prioritizing career and not necessarily not just attracting the guy, but keeping him long term. And this is where so many women fail, because any girl can get a guy. That's not the hard part. The hard part is, can you get a guy that you actually like and get him to commit to you? And this is where women fail because they lack empathy. And what I mean by empathy is they don't understand men. We have to understand women to attract them. Women don't have to understand us to attract us, because all y'all got to do is be available, look kind of hot, and we'll come talk to you. Like, and we have to do all the work in the beginning. Well, but where women fail is they don't do the work after the guy puts in the work to attract her, to retain that guy. That's where a lot of women make the mistake and aren't really able to keep the things. And this is why I'm saying, like, the education system and us women prioritizing their success has overrode their ability to retain men.
I mean, bro, ain't that a Don DeMarco? And this is what they've been preaching on Fresh and Fit forever. It's just, this stuff never got clipped. This conversation that we're watching on Anton's platform has happened on the Fresh and Fit platform countless times. Well over 1,000 times. I'm talking about this serious with a group of people who got good heads on their shoulder. You know what I mean? No thoughts, no craziness, no whatever, no deadbeats. Just real, thousands of times on the Fresh and Fit platform. But it never got clipped. And it never will. This won't get clipped. Right? This won't get clipped. We got Cody as King in the building, man. Cody, you right where you at, bro. I see you, fam. Yeah, dudes' standards are too low. And a lot of women's standards are too high. That's the basic thing about it. And I've been saying this a lot, and I'm going to continue to say it. Dudes should mate select the same way women make select. And what I mean by that, you should disregard a woman and just move on, just like she'll disregard you and move on for nothing. A woman like, I ain't gonna talk to you because you're not 6 feet. What? Okay, cool. So you see a woman, I ain't gonna talk to you because you got extensions or you got crazy, eyeliner on. You're wearing too much makeup, or you got a BBL, or you wearing see-through clothes. Anytime you come across a woman like that, fam, and you thinking like, I think this is gonna be the woman for me in the future. I want to commit to this woman. The minute you see something you don't like, you should move on. You should move on, because that's how women do it. Now, that's easy for me to say. In my 50s, I done did it. I didn't ran through what I ran through. I done did it. You know what I mean? I had a guy point this out to me. He was like, bro, and he was just like, just keeping it 100, bro. Like, you probably forgot about women you have smashed. It's like the women you have forgot that you slept with is way more than the women I slept with in my life. And I'm like, damn, bro. And this is a guy, like, because I be having conversations out in the world, in the trenches. And he was like, man, I just want to tell you, man, just like, bro, there's dudes out there, like, there's dudes out there who have smashed so many women. And just the women that they don't even remember they smashed is way more than that the guy in the bottom 80 is doing. Like, think about that, man. You got dudes who like haven't had sex in the past year and a half, 2 years, some of them. You got guys who are like 40 years old and never been with a woman, virgins. Damn. Right? It's like, okay. And for me, that kind of brings me back down to life. It's like, okay, this is why we need to have these conversations. This is why we need to be talking to dudes. Right? And there's nothing wrong with saving yourself. There's nothing wrong with being a virgin. But these are dudes like, bro, I've been trying. I just can't seem to make it happen. And these are the guys that need help. It's like, all right, bro, let's start with grooming. Let's start with, and then let's talk about your fashion, Let's talk about your social skills. Like, bro, you don't know how to read the room. Let's teach you how to read the room. So it's stuff. And once we get, once we start to build on these things, women will start to talk to you. Women will start placing themselves in your orbit. Let's talk about what you haven't seen. Like, this is the stuff that I was doing. I take these guys out. Right? There'll be women trying to get their attention, and dudes will never see them. The dude will never see the woman. Like, bro, she spent the whole night trying to get your attention. Why do you say something, bro? It's your job, man. It's my job to point it out to you. You know what I mean? It's like, I got her Instagram, though. Is that for me? Like, no, that's for me. She fine. I'm trying to smash. Like, what you talking about, bro? What you talking about? But next time we go out, he's paying attention. Like, oh, and then he'll nudge me like, yo, little shorty to my 9 o'clock. Is she checking me out? Like, yes, she is, bro. Let me get out the way. You know what I'm saying? I'll go slide over somewhere else. Like, remember, talk to her for a couple minutes, maybe 5 minutes max, and then break contact. Right? Break contact. Come back over to the table where I'm at. Don't post up all night. You'll screw this up. And, first few times they screw it up because the conversation was good and they'll just talk themselves out of it. But then eventually they'll learn to break contact. They'll break contact, come over and like, man. And then they'll see that she comes over before the end of the night to say goodnight and make sure you hit me up. Like, yeah, I already, I already shot you a DM. She's like, all right, I already answered you. And these guys will be like, man, that's the first time a woman ever answered me on a DM. Like, for real. Like, yeah, bro, this is how it works. And you don't need tons of money. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on clothes. We talked about that, bro. You can go right over here to Burlington Coat Factory or someplace like that, TJ Maxx. Go in there and find you a nice, nice outfit. Get it tailored up, nice shirt. Get it tailored to suit you, nice pants, some decent little shoes. You can catch some, shoes on sale. Go to one of those, shoe discount places. Like, bro, you can put yourself together real nice, man, for about $100. For about $100. We could do it for less than that, really, if we had to, but you could put yourself together nice for about $100. I'm talking shoes, socks. Yeah, socks, bro. Yeah, sock game is important, bro. Women notice that. Your pants, your belt. Get your nice little watch. You know what I'm saying? We ain't saying jump up to a big old timepiece. I ain't saying run out here and buy you an IWC or something like that or a Rolex, but you can get yourself a nice little timepiece, man. A nice little watch, right? And then, nice shirt that's fitting right. Right? Haircut right. All that matters. But these dudes don't know. So this is how you do it. And it's, listening to someone like Myron Gaines, a guy who will tell you, he's like, man, I'm just a nerd who figured it out. And when you listen to the rest of this conversation, you'll see what I mean, because he's going to get here to be talking about Pokemon in a minute. You know what I mean? I was scratching my head. I'm like, oh, that's right. Myron's a nerd. Pokemon. I get it. You know what I mean? And he, man, just like God admit, he's spitting facts. You know what I mean? Cody's like, a lot of that is due to ego boosting and media and society for women and ego destruction by media and society for men. Facts, Cody, you're right, bro. You're like, I'm not going to talk to you because you weigh as much as a man. Hey, bro. Hey, listen. I spend a lot of time as an older man saying no. I say no way more than I say yes. Like, and I just don't even want to deal with it. And I don't care. Color don't matter. Like, I just don't care. And like I said, and I have women come up to me later and like, how come you didn't speak to me? I saw you at so-and-so. I'm like, I just didn't feel like it. Yeah, I just didn't, no, I didn't feel like it. Like, man, you've been hurt. Who hurt you? And all that kind of stuff. I'm like, life has hurt me. That's what life is all about, man. I got scars. You want to see them? I got real scars. I got physical scars. I got emotional scars like everybody else. And sometimes I just don't want to deal with it. So I sit back and chill. I'm going to drink my cognac and I'm going to watch this game. And I don't even want to talk. Hey, baby, you got a tattoo on your face. Why are you even coming over here? I don't want to talk. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to the video.
If that makes sense.
What do you think about that, Mika and Molly?
Oh no, he's 100% correct. I mean, that's exactly what my father always taught me. So he's absolutely correct. And then, the women, anytime, and we've talked about this tons of times on this panel, anytime the women are, how in a belief mindset that, I have, they'll call it pick me. They'll call it, you're trying to, follow the man and everything. And if you say yes, because that's literally what I was taught, then it's, okay, well, it's always something bad. It's always something downtrodden. And he's gonna He's going to leave. What if he leaves? What if he does this? What if he does that? It's never looking at it from the standpoint of trying to have a family unit. Everything is a risk, right? But it seems like in today's society with feminism, if you prioritize this, then if this happens, at least you have a job, at least you have a degree, at least you have, money. It's not prioritized as it may be a risk, but at the end of the day, you may have a family.
And here's the other thing too. I really want to bring to light what you just said, because what you just said is extremely important with the concept of calling women pick-me's, right? This is a very pernicious cycle that I've noticed in modern women, where they'll see women doing what's required to actually attract a man, like whether it's being super submissive, being super nice, listening to their man, dressing the way that their man wants, cooking for him or whatever. They're doing these like traditional roles. And I don't know what it is, but like women look at this and it's like their knee-jerk reaction to say, oh, you're a pick-me. Oh, you're being caved in by your man. Like this girl right now is literally going viral. Emily Saves America. She's supposed to be a conservative, and she talks about, hey, well, you should probably still get a job. You should still get a hobby, blah, blah, blah. And that goes against conservatism. And that's why I say a lot of these women that are conservatives are really undercover feminists, because what they're doing is they're teaching women this pernicious cycle you just mentioned with this whole don't be a pick me or whatever, because we have an entire society that tells women, hey, don't do anything for the express consent for a man. You need to put yourself first, not knowing that if you actually want to keep a guy first, you actually have to put yourself second. Your job is the aid, the assistant, the helpmate, because when a man is put forward, when we win, you win by extension. But if we put the woman forward and the woman wins, what ends up happening is the woman's like, I don't need this nigga. Like, his job is to provide it for me. I'm the one providing. This is why I tell guys all the time, you got to be the leader, and the girl's got to like you more than you like her. Because since women are the ones used to being pursued, the only time they're going to respect the man is when they're finally pursuing, because they never do that. So that's how they're able.
That one right there, bro. People don't like to hear it, but it's a fact, right? The person who is willing to walk away from a relationship is the person that has the leverage in said relationship. You want to be that guy that, like, got your woman's like, I love you, baby, but if you do that shit again, I'm leaving, and mean it. And she has to, like, oh, let me not do that again. Your wife or your significant other needs to be worried that she's messing up and she's going to lose you. Because in her mind, if she believes that you ain't never leaving her no matter what she does, bro, she's going to continue to just possibly continue to go out here and just do some of the most foul shit you've ever thought of. And because she ain't worried about losing you, because she know you ain't never going to leave her. And eventually she'll leave you. And I know a lot of people, they don't like to hear that, but I'm like, bro, there's truth in that, right? And my thing is, like, if you're in a relationship with me, I'm the commanding officer, right? I'm the CO, military terms. Like, I'm the CO. You're the XO. My wife would be the executive officer. You're the XO, right? You're my trusted right hand. I know you watching my six. I know you are. Your job is to make sure that I stay on track and that I'm getting our mission accomplished, and you're taking care of everything else so that I can accomplish that mission. And I'm going to hold up my end, and I need you to hold up your end. That's how I look at it. You know, people like, well, it's 50-50. You have women talking about, I want a partner. If I'm talking, if I'm talking to a woman and we're dating and it's serious and I'm looking at her for a long-term relationship and she referred to me as partner one time, that's it. I'm gone. I'm gone. I mean, you ain't my partner. No. My job is to stand out there and defend us. My job is to put my life on the line for what we're building. My job is to protect you and provide, right? That's my job. I don't need you out there with me. You're going to get me hurt. You don't know how to deal with this. You don't know how to deal with this world. You need to stay back here and handle business back here. Take care of the kids, take care of the house. Make sure the finances are right, right? Be checking in, reminding me of things, keeping me on track, adding value. Ladies, if you want to know the secret to getting yourself a top tier guy, a high value man, right? You need to add value to him. Like Myron says, add value to him, because when he wins, you win. But that party said, like, if a woman out there making all the money, she's bringing it all home, and dude just sitting there talking about, I love you and I'm going to take care of the house and kids and all that, bro, she's going to get tired. why am I dragging this man along? I mean, I could get me a better man. That's what's gonna happen. It's just a thing. Are there women out there who are cool with the alpha role and handle their business and they're good commanding officers? Sure. There has to be. There has to be, but it's definitely a minority because most women would get tired of dragging a man along. They just get tired of it and they will move on. They will move on. Cody is saying, like, you also got to remember most women these days are on some sort of mind and altitude altering drugs. Oh, that's a fact. A lot of them, like Myron mentions, affect the empathy regions of the brain, meaning a lot of these chicks are hormonally messed up, mentally numb, and often seem soulless or without any empathy. Wow, bro. Wow. I was watching something. I don't know if it was Moon. Man, I hope I sent it to myself. Because what I do, if I see something that's really nice, I'll share it with myself. I'll text it to myself. So I'll have it and I can go back and review it later. But it could have been Moon. Or maybe it was another one of the content creators. But anyway, they were talking about women on drugs and how they've been on these mind-altering drugs like since their teenage years. And when they come off the drugs, they don't know how to cope. Like, bro, that's an excellent point. You do the same thing, bro? Yeah, I do that. So I'm like, let me send this out. I'm gonna see if I can find it. It's definitely in my history. I was really shocked, and it was just showing women who were breaking down, going crazy in front of the camera, man. Like they couldn't stop shaking it. They've been on these drugs, these mind altering drugs, and they were talking about counselors and being prescribed these drugs. And the drugs don't even really help. I'm gonna see if I can find that, man. We could talk about that, bro. We could talk about that, man. Right? See what Cody is saying right there. You know what I mean? So that's a good point, man. Thank you for that, bro. Thank you.
To distinguish, do I got a winner or a loser? Am I following him or is he following me? Because this whole like, I'm gonna build my wife up, I'm gonna move for her and her career. I tell guys never do that, because when you do that, what you've inadvertently done is you've given her the frame and the leadership role in the relationship. And the women will sit there and say, I want to be equal partner. What I've realized is their actions never actually reflect that. They want you to be the leader. They want you to dictate the terms. And the biggest way for that to happen is by her kind of submitting to and having this pick me thing that a lot of women use. But whenever I see women say it, put it this way, ladies, if girls are calling you a pick me, you're doing something very right. Do not listen to the feminist propaganda that tries to almost like, you know, when men insult each other and emasculate each other, like when women tell each other that, oh, you're a pick me, or you're an idiot for following a man, or you're stupid, or you know, you could do better. That's all shaming language to keep you from having a man. One of the biggest things, and I'll end with this. This guy, his name is something desire. Oh my God, I can't remember now because sorry guys, I've been streaming for like 8 hours.
Undesirable truth.
Long story short, the truth desire, something like that. He interviewed a divorce attorney, is the main bottom line here. And he asked the divorce attorney, she's a female divorce attorney, hey, who initiates most of the divorces and why? And she said something that I've been saying for years, and I thought it was awesome because it finally vindicated me. She said the women initiate the divorces, and a big reason why they do it is because they get talking to their girlfriends, and their girlfriends put shit in their ear. And it's back to that cycle you just mentioned with pick me, you do everything for him, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And women will see other girls happy with a guy in a good relationship, and they'll try to ruin that and be like, why are you with him? You can do better. Oh, he has Sim. Oh, look, he's controlling. He's XYZ. When in reality, he's everything that she wants. But since they're not happy and they don't got what they want, because it's so much harder to find a mate for women, they'll sit there and try to tear her shit down. And that's like one of the, I tell girls, if you have a relationship, get rid of all your single friends. They're going to lead you astray.
Bro. I mean, was he dropping knowledge? Was he dropping knowledge? Was he dropping knowledge or was he dropping knowledge? I have friends who are married. I have some friends who've been married. They've been together over 30 years. They've been married well over 20 years, 25 plus years, I think. And one of the things that they tell me all the time, because people are like, oh, you guys are so perfect. I've been in a room when this shit happens. You guys are so perfect. You guys never have any problems. What's your secret? And I'm like, we keep the world out of our relationship. We keep the world out. We have an issue, we fix it in our home. We don't invite the rest of the world in. And like in this couple, like the wife, she has friends and stuff like that, but she don't be doing no, you know, like she ain't trying to go to Miami on a girls trip or whatever. Like she'll take some trips, you know, every blue moon, or like if she takes a trip, she's going to do something for the family. You know, she'll go visit her friends or whatever. But this is the one woman is like, she can go do whatever she wants to do because she ain't about that madness. She's not going to jeopardize what she has. She's built too much. She is 100% all the way in on what they're doing. And so is he. And, you know, I tell him all the time, like my dude, I'm like, bro, not a lot of men like you, bro. There's a lot of dudes out here that going to continue to smash. And he's like, that's not what I want. He wanted a wife. He found his wife. That was his mission. I've known this man forever, damn near 40 years now. And I didn't know. And I know him when we were kids. I didn't know that he was looking for a wife like that. He told me well after the fact. You're like, yeah, the whole time I was looking for a wife. Like, running with me, you was looking for a wife? The shit we was doing. You're like, yeah, you know, little sidetrack there. But yeah, I was looking for a wife. Right? So what Myron was saying is true. Ladies, if you do find yourself the man that you want, you love this man, you desire this man, you know what I mean? He is everything you want. Do not run to your friends and tell your friends about y'all problems, especially if the dude is tall, dark, handsome, wealthy, funny, right? Successful, you know, social, you know, he's like a social savant, you know what I mean? If he's the perfect dude, you better not be telling your girlfriends y'all problems because she's going to get you to leave him so she can get him, right? It's a cold, cold game, people. It's a cold, cold game. All's fair in love and war. I know you done heard that. And I done seen that. I done seen women. I done seen dudes do it. I done seen women talk their homegirls out of a great relationship with an amazing guy so that woman can get her, so she can snake her way in there. Just like dudes will be out here, these player haters will be out here lying to you about your girl. Talking about she this, she that, she that. And I went through that when I was young. Now that I'm older, man, it's only a handful of dudes I would think about listening to. And even then, I'm going to verify they shit. You feel me? Like, because I see stuff, I'm not going to run back to my people, right? I see something, I'm going to hold on. Like, if I'm dealing with a dude that I know likes 304s and he out here chasing chicks and he doing his thing, I'm like, bro, you got to know she out here doing her thing. I had one of my homeboys messing with this chick, and I'm in L.A. at a party, one of them Hollywood type shits, and I see the chick. Right? My man didn't live in Cali. I didn't live in Cali. I was just out there. I didn't run back to him or go on the phone like, hey, man, your girl in here. And she looking at me like, shh, don't say nothing. I'm like, I ain't saying nothing. Right? That's y'all business. Now, here's the thing. Right? When he met Shorty, I knew she wasn't shit. His game as good as my game. So he saw it too. And if he didn't, oh well. Oh well. Why am I gonna tell you what you probably already know? So nah, bro. Nah. But that conversation right there, man, with Myron Gaines on Anton Daniels' platform on one of his panels, bro. That conversation was solid. And these are the conversations that we need to have if we want to, you know, build and correct our society, because we're headed down the wrong path. These are the conversations we need. I'm telling you, man, women are looking for good men. You know, dudes just need to really get their game up, get their understanding together. And y'all know when I say game, I'm talking about understanding. Y'all need to get y'all game up. Because Myron said in the video, was like, well, you know, if a dude works at McDonald's dropping fries, he know he ain't going to get no play. That's true for the majority, but there's some dudes out there with real game dropping fries at McDonald's, killing it. Now, he's going to be able to smash and do some short-term stuff, but long-term stuff, nah, ain't, you know, only certain type of women are going to want to mess with that guy, right? A guy who's like, you know, you've peaked out at McDonald's, like, this is it, this is you. Like, this is you, 45 years old, dropping fries at McDonald's, this is you. There's only a certain type of woman who's going to tolerate that guy. Now, he'll work his way into situations, be in this situation over here in this apartment, till that runs, she kicks him out and be over here in this house until he gets kicked out of there. But, you know, that's just a certain type of dude whose game is just on. But for the average guy, yeah, bro, if you're a bus driver, right, just like Ebony K. Williams said, I ain't dating a bus driver unless he owns the bus. And it's like, okay, And look what she went and did. Went and had a baby without a man. It's like, I'm just gonna raise, I'm gonna have my little girl. I got plenty of money. I'm gonna do this all on my own. And that's so sad because I think Ebony K. Williams is a cool woman. You know what I'm saying? I know people who know her. I haven't met her in person yet, but just watching her talk and some of her podcasts and stuff like that, some behind the scenes stuff, I'm like, bro, she seems like a cool chick, but it's her giving into hypergamy. She has all the money in the world. Like, no, get the guy that you like. You could get you a dude that's making $100,000. Yeah, you worth 15 million, but he's making $100,000. He's still in the, you know what I'm saying, 8 to 5% of Americans, especially black dudes, probably less than that. So, you know, ladies, there just aren't enough dudes making that kind of money. So you're gonna have to take a good hard look at yourself, rate yourself. That's why Kevin Samuels used to always ask women, rate yourself on scale. What do you say? A scale of 1 to 10. You can't use what do you say? You can't use 6 or 7. You can't use how did he say it? Somebody in the chat will remind me. Where's Brother Pitney? He would know. You know what I mean? But Kevin Samuels used to ask women to rate themselves because he wanted an opportunity to show them how unrealistic they are. Every woman's going to rate themselves a 10. Like, you know, we all can't be 10s, right? And my scale is 0 to 10, right? I rate 0 to 10. There are zeros out there, right? 5 is the median, right? The vast majority of us fall between 4 and 6. That's where the vast majority of people fall on that spectrum from 0 to 10. You're going to fall between 4 and 6. Right? The 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s, right? The sevens are those people who are like, man, put a little bit of makeup on, you know, they look good. Or a guy who might have just a little, he ain't got a perfect 6-pack, but, you know, he's got like a 4-pack or something like that and whatever. 7s. The 8, 9s, and 10s, that's something completely different. That's like the actual beautiful people. Like the actual beautiful people, 8, 9s, and 10s. Right, just physically beautiful. Like inside, they might be destroyed. Right, so between 4 and 6 is where the vast majority of us fall. Right, the vast majority, 80% of people, well, on that scale of 0 to 10, in my opinion, fall between 4 and 6. That's 80%. 10% fall between, you know, at 0 to 3, and then 10% goes to that 7 through 10. All right. So 80% in the middle, 10 at the bottom, 10% at the bottom, 10% at the top. That's how it works. That's how it works. So the people in the middle need to be hollering at the people in the middle. But hypergamy, women is like, I'm a 10, I'm better than that, da. Knowing good and well, you know good and doggone well, you ain't no 10. Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, they were, what's a 10? Halle Berry in her prime, Janet Jackson in her prime. You know what I mean? The real Foxy Brown, Pam Grier in her prime, Kelly Rowland, them 10s. You know, them 10s. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put y'all onto some game. Brooke Shields, 10. I told you about the story when I met Brooke Shields. Ooh. And I met her, that was the late 90s, like 98, 99. Brooke Shields is a beautiful woman. Bro, and Brooke Shields in her prime, oh my gosh, she must have. But now all women, I'm a 10. There it is, can't use 7. Thanks, Mandrill. Like, yes, you see a scale of 1 to 10 and you can't use 7. Thanks, appreciate that, bro. So, you know, people need to get more realistic. I think that women are becoming more realistic. I think that today's modern women does not want to end up alone. You know, you got these young girls coming up there looking at, you know, women, you know, like they're looking at the Gen Xers and they're looking at some of these feminists and they're like, bro, I do not want to wind up in a house full of animals. I don't want to wind up with a bunch of cats and dogs and ferrets and whatnot. I don't want to wind up with a, you know, fox and a cheetah. You know, I don't want to wind up with that. I think these young women are looking and they're listening and they're paying attention and they're like, you know what? You know, I'm not going to say it out loud, but these dudes are right. I am average. I'm somewhere in there. I'm still attractive. I'm funny. I'm fine. I'm all that. I can keep my body, I keep my shape. But yeah, I might be a 6. 6, I'm a step above. I'm a step above the median. Maybe a 7, 2 steps above the median. That's hot. So let me find me a dude that's like a 6 or a 7. There's plenty of dudes out there like that. Let me find me a guy. Let me build with a guy. Let me support a man. Let me find a husband as opposed to a partner. And yeah, going to school, getting your education, getting your job, and getting money secure. That's great. Do all that. Ain't nobody saying you shouldn't do that. Do that. Right? That's your fallback. That's your safety net. Like, get that done. But while you're in college doing that, you should be picking your dude. I told my daughter already. My daughter is 16. I said, hey, start looking at these nerdy boys. Find you a nerdy golfer. Find you a nerdy dude who's like in gymnastics or something. Right? Let's pick you a winner. Let's try to pick you a winner. Right? So by the time my daughter goes to college, if she's interested in boys, right, she can, holler at her dad. Like, hey, Papa, what do you think about Brad? What do you think about, Javarius? What do you think about Dan? And I can tell her. This is what I think. She has someone to come home to and have this conversation with, a man, as opposed to coming home to her mom and be like, ooh, he's handsome. Ooh, he's popular. Ooh. Like, nah, don't fall for that now. Let's get you a man of substance. And I think that these young women are gonna come around. They're gonna secure their bag. They're gonna secure their education. They can take care of themselves if they have to. But the plan is to get themselves someone to share their life with. Find a man that they respect, that they admire, that they desire, right? And ladies, y'all should be vetting men just like men are vetting you guys. Pick yourself a winner, and then go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? Because, then when it comes to the whole wedding thing and time, legal marriage, we talk prenups and all that kind of stuff. That's a conversation for another day, right? That's a conversation for another day. But I hope you guys enjoyed that, Brother Cody. He's saying most realize it real quick around 28, and they start settling lower and lower in a hurry. Yeah, they need to come to that realization around 22, 23. They need to come to that. 28 is too late. Ladies, 28 is too late. And it just, I get it. It's tough. Man, think about it, man. These women get all that attention. That's when Myron did that experiment where he used his homegirl's photos and he set up a dating app and, as a woman, set up this thing and, man, all of the hits that he got, he was like, it was insane. He was like, bro. And he was like, that does something to a woman. Absolutely does something to a woman. If you're if you're a woman who just isn't obese, dudes are going to talk to you. There was a woman in the garage today. I saw her walking to her car and like, she was fine. I was kind of looking, I'm like, man, let me stop because, I am at work. I'm representing this company. Let me stop, because the whole Me Too thing or whatever, I ain't trying to get the company in trouble. And so I let it go. 20 minutes later, I'm walking around and I see her. She's in the vehicle, just sitting there for a very long time, extended amount of time. And I look and I get to see, I actually see her like, man, she's cute. She's cute. Like not 10, like hot, super hot. She's like 7, 8. Like, yo, not a lot of makeup on. Again, I walk away. Another 20 minutes goes by and now she's driving and she sees me and she's trying to figure out how to roll the windows down. I just come up, I just open the door. And of course she had a question, a technical question about, hey, I can't find a USB port, so whatever. And, every car, every make, every model different. And, unfortunately they don't train folks on, where the UPS, where the accessory ports are in a Cadillac versus a Honda versus a BMW versus a Subaru, you know what I mean? So, but she seemed really nice and she had the accent. So I'm like, okay, she's not from America. Now I'm like, she just went up. She's at 8 now, 8.5. I had her pull over, had to look in there. I'm like, I don't see it. It might not have it. Here's a port here. You probably have to get an adapter or you can YouTube it and it will definitely, tell you if there's one in here. We just couldn't find it. They'll tell you where it is. Or you can get another car. And she was like, I'm not too worried with this accent. Her accent was just gorgeous. I'm like, this is kryptonite. This is kryptonite. Must get away. She was just talking, and I'm like, must get away. But bro, she was fit. She was fine. That's the type of woman that I would talk to all day long, even if it's just to have a good conversation. Where you from? I mean, and her accent, man, she could have been Italian. I think it might have been because we didn't talk a whole lot, but she could have been Italian. Not a lot of makeup on, just wearing jeans and a simple shirt, not showing a lot of skin. I didn't see any tattoos, you know, no funny colored hair, no big Venus flytrap, you know, eyelashes. Just cool. Just cool. Like, that's the type of encounter that I would like to have, of course, away from the workplace, just out and about. That's, you know, and I tend to have those conversations a lot when I'm in Miami, and certainly when I travel. When I travel, I have those conversations all the time. So that's it. That's all I got, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm about to lay it down. At least I didn't have to go till like 1:30, 2 in the morning. But I did want to, I definitely wanted to talk about and react to that clip of Anton and Myron. There are many, many more out there. We might even be reacting to or breaking down a few more. I think it's really good to see this version of Myron Gaines back in the chair, back out there spreading the word, back out there, you know what I mean, just making sense and getting women especially to agree with him, like to hear him out as opposed to dealing with all the clips. And the fact that he is on like Black YouTube, it's like, bro, I think that this was good. You know what I mean? This is real good. And I know there's people out there that know the history. I'm like, come on, Saint, man, y'all had that falling out, man, that Castle Club thing, man. You Fresh, Myron. Like I said, man, Myron and Fresh have always been nothing but respectful towards me, bro. And I always tip my hat to those brothers, and I wish them nothing but success. And I'm always out here. If there's an opportunity that I find to help them, I will. I will hit them up in a heartbeat. If an opportunity came and it was legit, I would send it right to them. Hey, Fresh, here. Like, I have no animosity whatsoever towards those brothers, and I still support this message. Now, this red pill, dating dynamics, this stuff we're talking about here. Myron's politics, I don't deal with that. You know what I'm saying? That's like I'm not against it. I support his freedom of speech, and I admire him going out there with it. But I'm on a different side of the fence when it comes to the political conversation. But when it comes to sexual dynamics, man, intersexual dynamics, the sexual marketplace, this red pill conversation, this is the Myron Gaines that I like to see. And I hope to see more of it. These type conversations is what we need. So, and then Fresh is out there doing his thing too. Like, Fresh ain't stopped. He's still doing his thing. So, shout out to them brothers, you know what I mean? Shout out to all their supporters. Shout out to Anton Daniels and his people, man. And shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all know what it is. I'm DL Saint, man. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. I really want to know. I will see you guys on Friday. And Friday, I got a full day, but I don't have to work. So maybe we'll do a Lit Saint episode. Maybe we'll cover Stay Slick with Kit. Or maybe, just maybe, we'll talk about how we should do away with the current family law system and family court and all that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll have that conversation. Let me know in the comments below or hit me up on Instagram as to what y'all want to talk about, bro, on Friday, and we'll make it happen. I'm DL Saint. This is That Really Want to Know podcast. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.